So guys, as the 10th of May draws near, Nigerians can't wait for the judiciary to begin its hearing. Most Nigerians are hopeful that our judiciary is going to deliver justice to the petitions that have been filed against Bola Ahmed Tinubu and INEC as the electoral body that conducted the 2023 election. Some people keep arguing that Peter Obi does not have any case against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But I tell you, you might be shocked to know that Peter Obi stands a very high chance to be declared the president of Nigeria. At the end of these hearings, we all know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not win in the FCT. We also know that he has a drug case to answer. There is a dual citizenship attached to him. And we all know that Shetima has double nomination. The process through which Bola Ahmed Tinubu emerged as the president-elect has question marks all around it. And you know, INEC will not be able to prove innocent in the court because it is glaring that this election was rigged. In today's video, we'll be listening to Mr. Daniel Bwala, who has got some interesting points to make. So Mr. Daniel Bwala, please, can you tell my audience the areas Nigerians should watch out for as the judiciary commences its hearing?
The INEC did not upload the presidential result real time on that day in the IREF. Another fact is that INEC, long before now, had told the world, I mean the video and the clips everywhere, that this time around they were going to apply the electronic transmission of results. And then midway in the sports, they decided to change the rules. So we see how the court applied that. Then also another fact that has not been disputed is that there is a passport that emerged attributed to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, not a Nigerian passport. And so the court will have to then tell us whether that is okay. And then, of course, another fact.
Yeah, but that's not included in the application you made to the court.
But in the reply to their response, it was mentioned. So one thing about law is that if you did not institute something, but if your opponent by reply raises that issue, you also have a right of reply to that. And then, of course, but that's not even the major issue, but whether, having not said it in the form he submitted to INEC, whether there is a case of perjury.
So guys, you can see that Mr. Daniel Bwala's line of thought was interrupted. But you know, he made mention of INEC not following their guidelines and also Tinubu's dual nationality because he didn't tell INEC that he had a second passport. So now, Mr. Daniel Bwala, what's your general view about this 2023 presidential election?
Rami, the election has been conducted, right? A president has been selected by INEC. That's their preferred candidate. Now, we are in court to say that it was a rigged process. As long as there is no final determination of the matter, we have every right under law, equity, and justice to hold the opinion that we express.
Absolutely.
That he is a president-select and not a president-elect. That he is a president-select and not a president-elect. That he is a president-select and not a president-elect.
So guys, you have heard it that you are entitled to your opinion that he is the president-select and not the president-elect. He is the president-select and not the president-elect because of all the controversies around this election. So guys, let me allow you watch this video in full. Just take your time, relax and enjoy this clip. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others. And let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you.
Part of the proceedings of the Presidential Election Tribunal is weeks, perhaps just days away. How will the media cover it? Should the proceedings be live or not? This will be arguably the most significant set of presidential legal challenges in Nigeria's election tribunal history since at least 1999. So it's no small decision for the judiciary, and the eyes of the world are on Nigeria, which is why the main opposition PDP, which has lodged its legal challenge to the election in court, has been busy traveling the world and securing the buy-in of the biggest media houses to ensure punctilious coverage of those tribunal proceedings so that, as they put it, the Nigerian authorities would know that the world is watching and will be sifting the misinformation from the facts and bringing those facts to a global audience. So what difference is that likely to make? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the spokesman of the Atiku presidential campaign, Daniel Bwala. Great to see you, Daniel.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Before we get into that, the sort of coverage and all the rest of it, I mean, how would you characterize the stakes for your presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, as we prepare to go into the proceedings of the election tribunal? How high are the stakes for him?
Well, the stakes are high, but the facts are pretty clear. I mean, why we're in court is that we're in court seeking the application of law to the facts. Most of the facts are not disputed, some are, and whichever way the court will have to look at those facts as argued by lawyers and then apply the laws to it. So, for example, the facts that are not in dispute are, one, Tinubu did not get 25% in the FCT. So it will be interesting to see how the court apply the law to the facts. Other facts that are clear is that, of course, can be disputed, is that the IREF, the INEC did not upload the presidential result real time on that day in the IREF. Another fact is that INEC, long before now, had told the world, I mean the video and the clips everywhere, that this time around they were going to apply the electronic transmission of results. And then midway in the sports, they decided to change the rules. So we see how the court applied that. Then also another fact that has so far, another fact that has not been disputed is that there is a passport that emerged attributed to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, not a Nigerian passport. And so the court will have to then tell us whether that is okay. And then, of course, another fact.
Yeah, but that's not included in the application you made to the court.
But in the reply to their response, it was mentioned. So one thing about law is that if you did not institute something, but if your opponent by reply raises that issue, you also have a right of reply to that. And then, of course, but that's not even the major issue, but whether, having not said it in the form he submitted to INEC, whether there is a case of perjury. What we are, because we had a lot of people saying, PDP is quiet. Is it that PDP has resigned its fate? No, it's because PDP is strategic, and PDP knows very well at this time it is not just about rocking the boat, it's about adjudication. So what is our concern about the adjudication? Is a known fact that in Africa, anytime a case is taken to court, the governing party and the government in power will always want to do everything that they can to either intimidate the judges, to induce the judges, to manipulate the process, or to confuse the people. So at that stage, what do you do? The options are two. One is to become problematic in the country, like creating chaos everywhere, which to us is not the path to entrenching democracy. The other one is to gather a global consensus, because that's the whole idea of a United Nations, is that nations of the world subscribe to an agreement that is codified in charter, in convention, in treaties, in agreement, that the common thing that binds us together, one is the rule of law, adherence to due process of law, non-interference in the institutions of the state. And to be able to do that, you will need the world to look at Nigeria and see whether or not we are obeying the rules. Now, here is our problem, which is why we began to engage international media. We have seen over the last few months how the government of the day is using an institution of the state called Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation to intimidate to intimidate media houses. Sometimes I wonder whether the Broadcasting Commission has legal department, or even the media houses have legal department to know their rights. But you see, international media are not bound by the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation that or commission that will always bring draconian military rules in a democratic state to say that you cannot express yourself. For example, the election has been decided. I mean, the election has been conducted, right? A president has been selected by INEC. That's their preferred candidate. Now, we are in court to say that it was a rigged process. As long as there is no final determination of the matter, we have every right under law, equity, and justice to hold the opinion that we express.
Absolutely.
That he is a president-select and not a president-elect.
And that tantalizing prospect of a really disputatious battle in court has drawn considerable international media attention, and you've been talking to media organizations, and they seem keen to cover those proceedings?
Yes, they are. In fact, very much willing. What they have asked is whether, as requested by the Nigerian Bar Association, whether the court is going to permit the live coverage, which, as of today, we are not sure. Most likely, the court may not agree to it. They will just feel that it is an open court. They may agree to the first day or the last day. But transparency is what we are looking for, and that's why the idea of litigation is that the court must be an open court to the public. So, and but they are keen to cover it, and they are also motivated by the fact of the various reports that the international observers gave after they observed the election in Nigeria. I mean, apart from African Union and ECOWAS, which understandably, because of the geo power that Nigeria commands and the idea of seeking currying favor from the government, they will have to say, we think the election is all right. But all other international body, their conclusion is that the process was not transparent. Their conclusion was that there were violence and all of that. So that becomes a subject of interest to the international media and government, and that's our prayer.
Yeah, but is there a sense, though, that given how divided and polarized politically this country is at the moment, that live coverage might be pouring petrol on those fires? Not
really. Because the live, for example, there is no activity in the court that will result in altercation. It is only when there is altercation or expression of certain inflammatory comment or statement, which the last place to see or to hear is in the court of law. By our very discipline and our training, we communicate fact. Even if we are communicating disaster, we communicate it in a way that it will rather cool the temper rather than increasing the problem. So anybody who is seeking for that as excuse to say that once there is a live coverage, then there is the fear that the Nigerian people will react one way or the other, I think it's a fallacy of generalization. In fact, you can look at what Obasanjo did when he came to power. He set up a commission called Oputa Panel. That period, a lot of people thought that Oputa Panel was going to set Nigeria on fire. But that actually brought healing, because people were able to see how their views were being expressed by people. Yeah. So that's what we need, transparency. Now, here's the point. And I heard the speaker that just finished, my good friend, when they talked about the fact that because you are in court, shut up your mouth until the court decides. Sometimes I wonder whether this, anyway, it is understandable. When you are in APC, you have to be out of your common sense to do certain things. Otherwise, the fact that you're in court does not take away your constitutional right of expression.
Absolutely.
As enshrined in
freedom of expression.
Yes. What you cannot do is to say, this is the strength or this is the weakness of the case. Even as a lawyer, it is our duty, wherever we are, where subject of the court issue comes, for us to clarify. So we are not going to shut up. And what we are saying, it is pretty clear. We have the utmost confidence in the judicial system in Nigeria. I have spent all of my life in the last 8 years that I defended APC to say that the institutions of state can function optimally if the political leaders have their heads correct. Now, what we are saying is the government, the ruling party, should not use what is commonly known as the instrument of blackmail, which is used to preserve power, to intimidate the judges. What are the ways they can use? They can start by inducement. And they have their ways of doing it.
But those are allegations.
Yeah, that's what these are possibilities.
But you can also do the same.
Right, but then the point is, because I was asked this morning that the opposition too can intimidate the judges. I say, how? Do we formulate policies? Do we enforce policies?
No, we're not talking about it. We're talking about inducement. I mean, you can, because it's the same thing.
Anybody can do that.
For example, when an election is taking place, vote buying, anybody can vote.
Right. But in this case, because you heard me saying something like intimidation, instrument of the state. Yeah. When you make effort to induce and the people decline, the next thing they do usually is to bring up the dossiers, because they have the infrastructure to know the past of these people. And if that fails, then they begin what in the 48 laws of power they call isolate and eliminate.
Well, to be fair to them, the APC and all the rest of them, those are allegations that, I mean, there's no proof to support that. That's what they're trying to do. But I do agree with you that
it's not even an allegation. I say possibilities.
Potentially, they can do it.
Right.
They've got the power to do it.
And they have a history of doing it.
Well, they have suggested, though, that the biggest mistake the PDP made was to allow Peter Obi and Rabiu Kwankwaso to leave the party. Otherwise, victory would have been the PDP's today. So the splinters fractured your chances. That's the point they're making. And indeed, that's the point that President Buhari made.
That's pantophobia. You know, it's an expression of ignorance to the greatest respect. Now, let's take it on the evidence of their statement. You say because we have splinter group, that's why we didn't win. So what is the result as is presently argued? If you go to IREF, as I speak, the result of finally uploaded on the IREF is markedly different from the result as announced by INEC. And if you go by that result in IREF, APC did not win. So the fact that there were splinter groups and people left us has still not been able to stop us from winning the election, which is why we're in court to prove it. Now, the issue of overconfidence, the president was quoted to have said the opposition were overconfident, that's why they lost the election. I mean, is he a court of law? How did he arrive at that overconfidence? Is it through intelligence? Is it through security briefing? Is it a perception? Is it, you see, what they call overconfident was that throughout the campaign of all of the political parties, PDP was well coordinated in communicating in clear terms our plans for the Nigerian people. It was widely accepted. We got report from policy analysts and from economists that this manifesto, although not perfect, but all of the manifestos, this present a clear path. Now, because we communicated effectively, they call it overconfidence. When they were fighting, pointing fingers at each other. That's number one. Number two, I am not surprised. I said this morning that the president is making a lot of overtures to Tinubu because it is believed in quarters that he didn't support him in the primaries. The man got it anyway. He didn't support him in the election because they say he used Naira policy. So now that he has lost out on 2 grounds, he might want to do everything possible to please him so he can have a post-presidency peace of mind. So I like that. I won't be surprised because this is not the character of Buhari. If you look at his trajectory.
It's an interesting thought, though.
Yeah.
But I have to say that I do apologize that Felix Morka took a lot of time. And we would love to have you back
no problem,
again.
Anytime.
But this is, I'm going to have to stop it here. Daniel, thank you very much indeed. Really nice of you to come in. Appreciate Daniel Bwala is the spokesman of the Atiku presidential campaign, and you can see why.
So guys, you can confirm it from a senior advocate of Nigeria that you are entitled to your opinion until the court finally decides that Tinubu is the president-elect and not the president-elect. Honestly, INEC has taken Nigeria 20 years backward. You know, INEC has destroyed our democracy. They destroyed it so badly that, you know, I don't even know how Nigeria is going to recover from the shock that INEC threw it into. We all know how this man was going around making noise that they were going to upload the result real time, that they were ready, that they have everything set, that even if there was a kind of, you know, hijack on the website, that they have their technical people who are ready and out to address all those issues. INEC made fat promises. But look at my own analysis. INEC just used those promises, you know, to derail the attention of the Nigerian people. They moved our attention from focusing on them so that they could perpetuate their planned evil. That is my own analysis, because if INEC had not come out to repeatedly say all these things, Nigerians would have widened their eyes to see how it's going to go. But this man keep coming out and say, oh, don't be afraid, don't worry, as we promised, nobody can change it, so it's going to be, results will be uploaded. Oh my God. And Nigerians were overconfident that things will work out well. People casted their votes, went home, relaxed, and even forgot about the election, waiting for the result to be announced. only for INEC to tell us that they had technical glitches. So guys, you can see that INEC is just fooling the Nigerian people. INEC is fooling the Nigerian people. And up to today, they've not even come out to apologize to the Nigerian people. They've not come out to tell us what those glitches were. And they just want Nigeria to move on. You know, as usual, they know that when things like this happen, it takes just 1 month, 2 months, and everything will die down and Nigeria will move on. But you know, Nigerian youths are saying, not this time around. We will fight it to finish. We will see the end of all this. And that is why you see APC is fidgeting. They are shivering because they know that Peter Obi is ready for them. Peter Obi is out for them. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others. And let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you.